Today, let's delve into the mystery behind the origins of the heavenly stems and earthly branches in Chinese history. Liang Qichao, in his collected works of the Drinking Ice Room, mentioned that there are a total of 22 characters when combining the 10 heavenly stems and 12 earthly branches. He suggested that these characters might be related to the 22 Phoenician letters in terms of their forms and pronunciations. This implies that there might have been an ancient phenomenon of Western learning influencing the East. On the other hand, Moruo, in his research on Moruo bone inscriptions, proposed that the 10 heavenly stems might have been created by the Westerners, as the decimal positional system was developed by them, while the 12 earthly branches might have originated from the ancient Babylonian zodiac. But are the views of these two academic giants necessarily correct? If their perspectives are not entirely accurate, how can we refute the claim that the stems and branches were transmitted from the West? Let's take a look at the Sanxingdui Museum in Chengdu, Sichuan, where there is a treasure-worth bronze tree. This bronze tree might hold the answers we need. In 1996, the bronze tree was excavated from the No. to sacrificial pit into 417 pieces. After 10 years of meticulous restoration by experts, it has been restored to its original appearance. Today, it stands at 390 meters tall, though experts speculate its original height may have been around 5 meters due to the missing top. By the way, the bronze tree was only revealed in 1996, and Liang Qichao and Moruo had passed away without ever seeing it. Despite being just a bronze tree, why is it called the divine tree? Because it closely matches the descriptions in the classic of mountains and seas, particularly in 3 aspects. Firstly, the classic of mountains and seas describes the sun rising and setting from the top of a tree in the east, which is reflected in the bronze tree. It also mentions 9 suns rotating daily from the lower branches of a large tree, which aligns well with the bronze tree. In a previous video, I hinted at a small detail, the 10 golden crows on the Sanxingdui tree. Observant viewers might notice that there are only 9 golden crows in the line drawing of the bronze tree. Why then are there said to be 10? The bronze tree has 4 layers, with 3 golden crows on each of the bottom 3 layers, totaling 9. Experts believe that the missing 4th layer originally had 1 more golden crow, making a total of 10. We might also interpret it as the missing 10th golden crow having been on duty in the sky for the past 3,000 years. Secondly, each of the 3 golden crows on each layer is depicted with 4 drooping branches, and there are fruit-like bronze components on the tree's top. Some online sources and the museum's official site claim there are only 9 drooping branches, but this seems to be misleading. Why do some sources claim there are only 9 branches and fruits, when there are clearly 12? Some literature references the classic of mountains and seas, which mentions boundary wood with 9-footed images, possibly confusing this with the 12 fruits on the bronze tree. Why correct these details? Modern people know there is only 1 sun, yet our mythology includes 10 suns. The classic of mountains and seas records the great deity Zheng with 10 sons born from his wife, Shi, while his second wife, Changxi, gave birth to the moon. The bronze tree appears to combine these 10 suns and 12 moons, indicating that the 12 suns did not exist separately, but together with the 12 moons, reflecting the integration of Chinese mythology and archaeology. Besides these points, are there other crucial details? Yes. The bronze tree also features a dragon with a horse's face. Archaeologists discovered a dragon with a horse's face on the tree. Why does this dragon have a horse's face? The classic of mountains and seas describes a tree, like wood called Jianmu, which has a yellow serpent on it, and produces unsettling fruits. This tree, reaching into the clouds, is unreachable by mortals. The descriptions of floating wood and Jianmu in the classic of mountains and seas suggest that the bronze tree embodies 10 suns and 12 fruits, possibly moons. The yellow serpent coiled from the top to the root shows how ancient Shu absorbed and materialized these myths in the bronze tree. Notably, there are 8 bronze trees at Sanxingdui, with this one being the tallest, largest, and most exquisite. You might notice that my previous video took a long route to get here. This wasn't intentional, but rather due to the time needed to organize the material and provide a comprehensive understanding of the story. Since even scholars, like Liang Qichao and Moruo, could not solve the mystery of the stems and branches, relying on Western explanations, I certainly do not dare to be complacent. However, the more I prepare, the more I believe the stems and branches are an original creation of the ancient Chinese. Some might suggest that the elements of 10 points, 20, 2 paths, and a divine serpent resemble the Kabbalistic tree of life. Is this similarity merely coincidental? Moreover, who can confirm that the Chinese stems and branches predate the Kabbalah? What if the ancients borrowed from others? This is a good question. The Dead Sea Scrolls date back about 100 years, and Hebrew has a history of just 3. Israeli archaeologists found older Canaanite inscriptions in Jerusalem, suggesting Hebrew's history might extend to 30 years. Both Canaanite script and Phoenician letters have 22 characters, indicating a relationship between them. In 1050 BCE, around the time of the fall of the Shang dynasty, the full name of the bronze tree should be Shang Bronze Tree. In 2020, Sanxingdui's excavation resumed, and carbon dating of nearly 200 samples indicated a date range of 1130 to 1012 BCE, with late Shang dynasty artifacts dating about 200 to 3 Xiao years ago. The bronze tree from pit No. 2 is even older. Note that 200 years is the burial time, not the manufacturing time. Sanxingdui's history is very ancient, even conservatively estimated. The bronze tree is at least 200 years old. Regardless, these calculations of the stems and branches could not have been influenced by the Kabbalah or other ancient texts. I previously mentioned that the Shangwang really involves mature heavenly stems, and oracle bone inscriptions also cover the stems and branches. These pieces of evidence support this view, considering the literature mentions the origins of the stems and branches earlier than the Xia dynasty. The theory of Western transmission seems even less plausible. The great meaning of the 5 elements records that the 5 elements are represented through Jia and Yi for days, and Shu for months. The yin Yang Dian distinction determines the names of the stems and branches. The El Shichengqua mentions the Diagao as Diamagisi. Whether it is the emperor or the Dao, these are somewhat esoteric. While not adopting them now, we can at least refute the theory of Western transmission of the stems and branches. If their origin might be in China, when did they originate? And what do they represent? Regarding the origin of the stems and branches, we can start exploring from the surnames of the Eastern period. The Book of Records records Confucius's views, where he wished to observe the Xia rituals, but, due to dizziness, the preserved Xia rites in Qi were insufficient for debate. Though Confucius couldn't find the Xia rites, he obtained legislative texts from the Xia dynasty, known as the Xia Shaozeng, which later became the famous Xia Shaozeng. Why should we look at the Shaozeng? The Shang King's day names were derived from the Shi Tiangdian. Before Shang Tang, the Shang ancestors already had many names, such as Shang Zhuyi, Pu Yi, and Bao Bribing, clearly recorded in Sima Qin's records of the Grand Historian. Furthermore, These names are also verified in the oracle bones from the Yin ruins, demonstrating their reliability. Among the 16 emperors of the Xia dynasty, 6 adopted the Remingxi system. Early Xia emperors Taikang Songkang and Xiaokang were actually Dogong Songgong, Songgong, and Xiaogong, respectively. Later ones include Jian Jia and Kong Jia Envki. This shows the importance of the Xia dynasty Xiaozeng in the origins of the Gan and Si. What is special about the Xia Xiaozeng? Chen Zhujin from the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences noted in his paper on Xia Xiaozeng as the 10-month solar calendar that the Xia calendar had only 10 months per year, using the 10-month solar calendar with 36 days per month, unlike the later 30-day months. Though this system may be hard for modern people to understand, the Yi people still use it. Chen discovered that the Yi calendar, with 10 months and 36 days each, is a continuation of the Xia calendar. The Yi also have 5 to 6 days for adjusting the calendar's accuracy, calling it the Xuanzu calendar, named after one of the ancient 5 emperors, indicating their connection to the Huang emperor's lineage. When using the Ganzi system for dates or years, it can be confusing to remember the days and understand why the cycle is 60 years. In reality, these issues are resolved easily. The 10 heavenly stems represent months Jia for the first month, Yi for the second, while the 12 earthly branches represent days Si for the first day, Chu for the second. Each month with 36 days goes through the 12 branches 3 times, or 3 10-day periods. The 10 stems track month order, and the 12 branches track day order. If the true Xia calendar was so easy to remember, why didn't the Shang and Zhou dynasties continue using it? The true Xia calendar is practical, but was replaced by the 12-month lunar calendar with 20. For solar terms better suited to agricultural needs. The Shang dynasty reformulated the 10-month solar calendar into a 12-month lunar calendar, creating the 20 for solar terms, which became the basis for the lunar calendar we use today. Though we still call it the Xia calendar, I believe the current lunar calendar might be a modified version. The true Xia calendar was abandoned for being less practical for farmers. This reflects the most straightforward and true values of the people. Today, we use the earthly branches to denote each of the 12 months. Normally, except for leap years, the lunar year has 12 months. And there are exactly 12 branches, with each month corresponding to one branch. Later generations fixed the corresponding seasonal branches for each month, a method called Jianzhengyi. Jianqu. This practice of setting the start of the year was later called Jianzheng. The Shang dynasty started the year in the 12th lunar month, the Zhou in the 11th, and from the Han dynasty onwards, the new year was set in the 1st lunar month. I want to wish all global Chinese a happy Chinese New Year in advance. In summary, the true Xia calendar had 10 months with 36 days each, using stems for months and branches for days, while the Xia calendar had 12 months with 30 days each, and branches for months and stems for days. The origins of the Ganzi system date back to the true Xia calendar, predating the Shang Shu, even earlier than the Dead Sea Scrolls or the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. Although the Jewish Tree of Life and the myriad of its aspects are impressive, China's Ganzi system seems to have advantages. Putting aside historical baggage, let's move forward. Ancient China has many unsolved mysteries, like the numbers 36 and 72, which are possibly linked to ancient calendar systems. These numbers appear frequently in ancient texts and daily speech, such as 36 heavenly spirits and 70 to earthly fiends in water margin. These mysterious numbers attracted widespread academic interest in the 1930s and 40s, when Yu explored 72, noting that it is derived from dividing the year's 360 days into 5 parts, a concept rooted in the 5 elements theory. He didn't further explore why the year was divided into 5 parts, and the connection between 72 and 36. Had he known about the ancient 10-month solar calendar, understanding these numbers would have been clearer. This would not only solve the mystery of 72, but also clarify the significance of 36, along with the Ganzi system. Many might wonder why the year is divided into 5 parts. This relates to the mature 5 elements theory from the late Warring States period. Confucius mentioned the 5 elements: water, fire, metal, wood, and earth, through which all things are formed. During the 3 Kingdoms period, Wang Shu wrote that in a year of 360 days, each of the 5 elements governs 72 days. The 5 elements theory helps understand the origin of 72. Ancient China had many numeral names, such as Hitu, Luoshu, Daodi Jing, and Didao Jing. If you're interested, please show your support and let me know with a simple action, and I'll provide more content accordingly. Returning to the main topic, as you might know from my videos, I rarely use Xiao Wenjizi for archaeology because it was written during the Eastern Han Dynasty, less than 1,000 years after the Shang Dynasty. Therefore, I believe it's not suitable for inferring the original meanings of oracle bone characters, as Zhu Shen never saw them. Many oracle bone characters have changed from their later Han forms. For example, what did the character Zan mean during the Shang Dynasty? The oracle bone character consists of time and a spiral, representing a cycle of 10 days, thus originally meant a 10-day cycle. The Shang kings used 10-day cycles in divination, evident from their practice of Buzan, or checking the auspices of the last day. This shows that the Ganzi system was used to indicate time in divination. Additionally, the Shang kings' day names also used 10 heavenly stems, with evidence such as Wuding, Riming Shiding Zhengfai, and Riming Wei Xin, Wu, Di. Their sons' day names were Jijin Jia, indicating that the day names were unique and not chosen by personal preference. Thus, I disagree with Li Zhu Qing's view that the day names were chosen by the king's personal preferences. It's evident that the non-repetition of day names among the Shang kings was not random, but part of a systematic practice. I support Zheng Guangji's view that the 10 royal memory groups might have rotated duties, as suggested by descriptions in the Shanhai Jing. That concludes our discussion for today. Finally, if you don't mind, I'd like to share some personal feelings. Studying ancient history is tough and challenging, but I'm grateful to have met you and for your support. Your feedback, praise, and criticism are valued, and I'm thankful for your continued engagement. Despite the belief that history is written by victors and can be bloody and deceitful, remember that victors succeed because they face failure better. Even if their history is just a story, it's still more valuable than excuses. I'll close with a quote. Since childhood, I have cared for the stars of each generation alone. But after meeting you, my unsettled thoughts have gradually taken root and flourished.